Anomaly.
I am an anomaly.
Anomaly.
I am an anomaly.
I am an anomaly.
Anomaly.
An anomaly.
Anomaly. Something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. An oddity, peculiarity, irregularity, inconsistency, incongruity, a rarity.
Hello and welcome to the Anomaly Podcast. I'm Jen, and I'm a being that likes to dance but does not dance. And I am an anomaly.
My name is Angela, and I'm hooked on a feeling. And I am an anomaly. It's showtime, a-holes. It does sound better with me saying it.
It does.
I agree.
It does. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. Well, it's a miniskirt cast, right?
It is.
Miniskirt review.
And miniskirts are episodes that we used to do way back in the day that were only like 20 minutes long. Yeah. So we're bringing it back.
Yes, to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, which Volume 2, which was so cool.
It was so good. You know how everyone always says, that wasn't as good as the first one? This totally...
I thought it was kind of I feel like it was hard to compare them because
it's hard to compare, but
different.
It's definitely not less than the other.
No, I agree. Do you want to do the spoiler-free version first?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. Somebody on Facebook summed it up perfectly just by saying, while I was sitting in the theater, I didn't think of anything else for 2 hours. It was just pure entertainment. And I agree with that, which sounds silly,
synopsis.
but I think it's hard to be that, especially for me, because I'm kind of picky, even with fantasy stuff. I'm a little picky, but it was fun and it was colorful and it was comic. I liked how they were able to kind of do that comic book thing without being campy, but they also didn't feel the need to like Dark Knight it.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's not like this is the edgy version of whatever. They still had kind of silly comic book feeling, silly kind of comic book ridiculous things that happened. Obviously, it's sci-fi, so things that are happening that are totally unbelievable. But some of it was super unbelievable, but you just kind of were like, okay. So they just, because it's in this comic book universe, but, you know, like if you look at how they ended up doing the Batmans from the 90s, how the first couple were pretty good, and then they just went off the rails completely. One of the reasons was because they tried to put in all this camp, but it didn't fit right. Whereas this, you have a little bit of the camp, you have some of the silly humor, but it didn't go all Deadpool. You know, you didn't go like completely crazy with it. And it worked in the universe.
It did.
Is that spoiler free?
That's absolutely spoiler free. It's a spoiler
and then
free
also non-spoilery. I was in a glass house of emotion.
Yeah.
It gave me feels.
It did.
So, okay, how
a lot
did you
of feels.
feel?
Very much the same. I laughed so hard at a lot of different things. Sometimes I needed to catch my breath.
Yeah.
There were so many instances where I was laughing.
Yeah.
And then there were times when I was getting verklempt and choked up, and things that I didn't think would grab me emotionally surprised me. There was a couple of main plot issues that were not bad, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I didn't want that to be the reason. That was the only thing
that's fair.
Criticism, I guess. But I can't really say more without spoiling it.
Yeah,
altogether.
I totally understand.
Acting, as usual, stellar.
So fun. And the directing.
The music choices, love them.
Another great soundtrack.
I already bought Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the awesome mixtape thing.
Yay.
And Aaron and I have been jamming to it.
Cool.
It's great.
So you want to play the spoiler music now?
Let's play it.
Shields up. Red alert. Spoilers decloaking off the starboard bow. Yeah, that was a warning.
All right, we're going to get all spoilery now. So if you haven't seen it, you need to drop out and come back later.
Drop out and come back.
Yes.
So we're going to talk plot.
Plot
they got
details.
a little M. Night Shyamalan up in here
They do.
with like the super twist ending
Yeah.
that you did not really expect.
Nope.
Especially when and I wasn't surprised in a way because of the fact that they introduced his father like so quickly that if the father was going to be like a good situation, it would have been towards the middle or the end, where I feel like since they revealed it in the trailers and they revealed it so quickly in the movie, I was like,
Yeah.
This is not going to end well. No, and that's the other cool thing though, is that like, I did not see that coming, like seriously. I know usually I'm able to track scripts pretty easily, like know where everything's going. And I was pretty surprised. I admit that. Were you surprised?
I was not in a good way. I was kind of like, damn it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm used to the big baddies wanting to rule the universe,
Yeah.
And especially if they're omnipotent.
Yeah.
They always want to be God. And that's the only disappointment and it's slight. Like I said, that's a slight disappointment.
Yeah. The reveal missed a beat to me. I agree. Like there was something just not quite, I don't know. I agree.
Then they twisted the knife when it was his dad who gave his mom cancer. And I was like,
well, but because I've actually had like about 6 conversations with Russell about this. Because, well, Russell knows I've had cancer. So that occupies his thoughts a little bit. And he knows that I'm okay and whatever. But that scene in the first movie, like, freaks him out, obviously.
Yes,
and the whole idea of a mom dying of cancer is not something that he likes to entertain. So it is, and he's asked me several times, why did Ego kill his mom? And I get the reason, but it's complicated. Then when the reveal happened about the dead bodies and all that stuff, it just took me too long
to figure out what the heck was going on.
To figure out what was going on. I feel like they did so well with every other scene that this kind of pivotal thing ended up being a throwaway moment of, oh yeah, by the way, he's evil.
Yeah.
By the way, he's evil and he's trying to destroy the universe. All right, go about your business. It's like, what now? What now? What now? He's a man whore and he's what? Like, what is happening?
He's trying to spread his seed all over the galaxy.
Exactly. Like, it just like
killing
this
off
took
his
a turn.
children.
This just took a weird turn. It does explain how he was able to hold on to the stone in the first movie.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And then also it gives him a way to, so now he doesn't have the celestial gene or whatever anymore. So now he can kind of go about his business, just Star-Lording.
Yeah.
And I do like the introduction of the character of Mantis.
She and Drax. Do you think that they're setting them up as like, even though
No,
he thinks
I
she's
mean-
ugly, the most disgusting thing in the world?
Well, he doesn't mean that as bad, though.
He's just incapable of being tact.
I don't know. And the other thing is,
Tactful.
too, is that, like, is she one of his children who just happened to have
No.
a superpower?
He found her and raised her, but only kept her to help him sleep.
Okay, yeah,
And
I got
wasn't
that
really
part.
sure what his problem was, why he needed to sleep. Was
I-
he so worried about Peter? Or not necessarily worried, but trying to find him.
I don't know about that. I think that and this is the thing I've been trying to wrap my head around. I think he genuinely fell in love with Peter's mother, and he was just like, can't have feelings, and that's why he killed her.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
he
that-
did kind of say that, but it was
like, and so it's like, that's why. And so I think the guilt of that, I mean, somewhere that has to make you feel guilty, I would think.
Can serial killers? Because he seems to be a serial killer.
Well, he's
Can
an
he feel
omnipotent
guilty?
being. I mean, you can't really apply you're trying to apply like human logic
But he's so human-like. It's kind of hard not to.
but that's not what he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're saying. I get it. But again, like, this is a major plot point that they didn't like explore at all. They just had
Right.
a couple of sentences about it and then it was gone. I do like the interaction between Mantis and Drax. And I
Yes.
also liked the, what was it? Oh, the sister situation.
Yeah, the
I thought
resolution
that was
between them.
great.
I was happy that they came to that,
Yes.
Nebula is still angry, but
Sure.
is, I guess, healing. I don't know. I think I've told you this before, but my sister and I, for a while, we didn't get along very well at all. And it kind of reminds me of Gamora and Nebula, very much so.
Yeah, I
My
can see
sister
that.
being Nebula. I love that was resolved.
Well, and I also like the resolution with Yondu. And now
Yes.
rewatching the first movie, it makes more sense as well. How the other Ravagers were always questioning him about like, why don't you kill him? Like, why are you always like, what is wrong? Why are you always soft on this kid? I mean, obviously his childhood was hard and he wasn't like nice to him necessarily, but he did always take care of him.
Yeah. He was a warrior, not a dad. And so
Right.
he's kind of aggressive and grouchy, and just the way he talks to him kind of reminds me of the way my dad was growing up. 'Cause
Yeah.
my dad's, like I've mentioned before, rough and tough. He had a kind of a rough upbringing. And
Yeah.
so he was never like really delicate about anything either, and teased us all the time. Kind of like Yondu threatening to eat him. You know,
Well,
my dad
not
would do-
him. His guys were saying his
Yeah,
guys were
yeah.
going to. But but so sweet. I love the part where he's like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah.
And the thing is that Star-Lord's not making fun. Mary Poppins is kick-ass.
Yes, she is. He's being completely serious.
And that is when he's like, is that cool?
Yes,
And
it's cool.
yes, yeah. Mary Poppins is cool, of course. And that is not a joke. She is. That's the most awesome character.
I love that.
And I love that. So, like, as far as a twist, that was really one of
It
my
was
favorite
awesome.
things to
Me
happen.
too. And you know what's surprising? We took Aaron to see this. This is one of the first like grown-up movies other than Rogue One, which
Mhm.
the most dark movie we've ever taken him to. But he loved this movie,
Oh,
and
yeah.
surprisingly, his favorite character was Yondu.
Oh, Russell too.
He
yeah.
was so very upset when he died, and
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised by that. He loved Baby Groot, but that's not his favorite.
Oh, that reminds me. It was a kind of, in my mind, kind of a Joss Buffy move to do the beginning where there's this big battle going on, and you're not seeing any of it.
Yes,
That is
because the toddler is in the
yeah, the
they're trying-
little baby Groot is dancing, and it's just this
and they're all concerned that he's going to get hurt. Like they're
and
trying
he's
to take
just
care of the
walking around,
boss,
and they're just having this giant battle in the background. James Gunn, who's the director, totally gets this,
yes,
gets it. And it was fun to see Sylvester Stallone.
Did you know he was going to be in this movie?
I had heard rumors, yes.
And I
And
think
of course-
that is the perfect role for him. I hope we
Yeah.
see him again.
Yeah, I hope that comes back again in the rest of the universe. And Sean Gunn, who is James Gunn's brother, and he was also on Gilmore Girls. He had a recurring like main character on Gilmore Girls, and he was hilarious, Sean Gunn. The guy who plays Yondu's like second.
Yeah.
Also, he, as an actor, he was the stand-in for Rocket.
Oh, okay.
So I guess if your brother is the director, he makes you put on a gimp suit and pretend to be a raccoon. You just do what you got to do. And the other thing is, I don't know about you, but I went kind of looking at everybody, after we watched, after we watched the movie, looking at all the actors and stuff. The woman who plays Mantis, her personal history is amazing. She has just had like a lot of crazy tragedy in her life, but has come back. She's Canadian. She has a Korean mother and a French father, and she grew up in Canada. Oh, her mother was schizophrenic. Her father died of cancer. Then her brother died. Then her uncle died.
Oh my god.
And her uncle was taking care of her. And then her uncle died. And it was like this all happened before she was 25.
Oh my gosh.
You could write a movie about this girl's life. But I like seeing that, obviously she's getting herself out there and she's having success,
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that that's cool when people's actual history is almost more interesting than something that's made up,
Absolutely. Really inspiring too. I
It
mean,
is
gosh, you have to be
inspiring
really
because
courageous.
there's other people who would experience stuff like that and then never recover.
Right.
And obviously she's just like doing her thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that stuff is cool. And I also had to look up the girl who plays Aisha, the gold chick.
Oh yes.
Evidently she's 6'1" and gorgeous. And not just gorgeous, but she's really interesting. She looks like in real life. Like this kind of porcelain,
Statuesque.
statuesque kind of beauty,
Mhm.
It's interesting. And I thought she was good. I mean, she played that character.
Oh yeah. Absolutely adored the way they brought in the 80s. If you've been in an arcade and watched people play video games, The way they handle the ships going after
Yes. It's like Galaga.
It was so funny, and not just funny, but just a creative way to bring in the 80s feel, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to describe it, but it went over Aaron's head, obviously. But to me and Dave, we were just absolutely cracking up the whole time. They have such a superior attitude, and yet they do nothing. They do everything virtually.
Yes.
There's no personal sacrifice, and they know no danger because they're not really out there. I love the scene where they have the red carpet they're rolling out for her.
Oh, yeah.
And they run out of carpet. Just this little touches like that really made the movie.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I love that kind of stuff. And then the whole back and forth about Taserface.
Yes.
And then when he calls her and then she starts laughing. Like she completely breaks character basically and just starts laughing.
Yes.
I love that.
Trash Panda.
Taserface.
Trash Panda is also the new phrase around the house now.
Oh, yeah.
That's much worse.
Oh, it's so much worse. It's a lot worse. But I love all of those little interactions like the Mary Poppins thing, or I was just watching the first one today. We watched part of it. And he's like, a great hero named Kevin Bacon teaches them all that dancing is important. And it's like I'm Kevin Bacon.
Yes, yes. Aaron loved in the first movie the dance off. He tries to quote that and do the dance off. And
have you shown him the outtake where Ronan dances back?
No.
Oh, you need to find that.
Oh, I got to see that.
You need to find that. And Ronan is Thranduil. I can't say his name right now. From The Hobbit.
Oh, okay.
He's the elf king.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that.
Dad. He is such an interesting, like a very fantasy face.
Yes, he does.
You know? But he's also done like comedies too. He's interesting. And I love his voice. The guy who plays Ronan in the first one. I like nice deep voices. Yeah, nice voice. Sorry, can't help it. Not on a woman, obviously, but actually on a woman, like a Kathleen Turner kind of deal. That's kind of cool. So I try to have something a little more raspy, I guess. But anyway, I thought everyone was good. And I'm super jealous of Zoe Saldana for being able to be in all these movies, and I hate her. But she's real cute and she's good.
She's excellent.
She's good. I think she's better cast as Gamora than she is as Uhura. Hands down. So it's nothing to do with her.
Nope,
my objection.
It's not.
About
Yeah. Like, if you want to hear anything about us talking about the new Star Trek movies and Uhura, go look up our shows on the Anomaly podcast. Did we review the other
Star Trek movie? We never did. I liked it.
Me too. I loved it. Wait, did we?
Maybe
I
we
think we did. We have an episode. Yes, it's called
Okay.
What You Need to Know About Star Trek Beyond. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we both loved that movie. We thought it was the best.
We did. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Chris Pine.
I do too.
I do.
I can't wait to see him in Wonder Woman.
That's going to be awesome. We're nerds.
What do you think about Rocket and his character development?
I loved that. And I like how it interacted with Yondu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that whole thing just really made sense. I like it. Yeah.
I love that Baby Groot wasn't just there to be cute, but he also, you can see how the rest of the crew takes care of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're constantly paying attention to him to make sure he's okay, or like, oh, hi, love you too, kind of thing while they're slaying the monster or whatever. And his progression is just very much like you would talk to a toddler, like trying to explain, don't push this button. I am Groot. I am Groot. No, don't push that button. And I loved that. But also the end, the credits were just as entertaining as the rest of the movie.
And the credits, not just
the best credits I've ever seen.
But not even just not the little cutscenes. The cutscenes were good, but also the credits themselves were fun.
It was an art. The credits in that movie could be standalone as far as art form goes. Seeing him as a teenager at the end in the credits was perfect. You realize then that he's not always going to be Baby Groot and that he's going to actually go through these puberty phases until he gets back to full-grown Groot.
That's pretty funny.
One thing that Aaron and I were a little bit confused about, and maybe it's because I didn't pay as much attention to what exactly happened with Groot, or because I haven't read the comics, I don't know. Is he a offspring of Groot because he's a sprout, a piece of him that took off, or shoot, I mean, or is he Groot, the Groot?
I don't know. I have seen in some research that I did when I first watched the first movie that there's been also incarnations where he's always in a pot and then he grows bigger because he's like an experiment.
Yeah.
Like in this version, I think he's a species of some sort, but I think originally in the comics he was an experiment, and so like he would be in the pot and like Rocket would do something and then he would grow and like all of a sudden. And does that make sense?
It does.
But I think that was just one of like many different ways. So I think the answer is yes. I think what they're going for is that it's actually Groot.
Okay, that's
like
what
Spock's,
I thought.
Like Spock in Genesis. Like it's actually Spock, but it's not, but it is.
What does our audience think? I want to know what you think, people.
I'm curious. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it's anybody's guess, but somebody may know. That's not us.
Yeah, write to us. Let us know.
But yeah, I'm excited to see more, and I'm excited for Wonder Woman. I think this is going to be, I hope that they do good for DC.
I have not been in love with many of the DC movies,
Yeah,
and I've seen
meh.
Batman.
I
seen
actually
Superman,
really
and
liked Suicide Squad.
I did
know
too,
a lot of
but it
people
still
didn't.
kind of felt gritty and kind of like, not my Super Friends cartoon.
Well, and that's why I said at the beginning about Guardians is that you can still have those campy things and have a good movie without like making everything a gritty version of X. You can still be true to the spirit of it, but I just think it's hard with those Silver Age characters. I mean, we talked about this with Rico at one point because he knows a little more about the comics than we do. And he definitely agreed that it's like these Silver and Golden Age comic book characters are so black. It's so black and white, good and evil, that it's hard to portray them in a world like in this world. Whereas Marvel characters are always a little more ambiguous. And so they're more interesting to watch.
that's true.
And so these characters that are like Superman basically has no, like you were talking about in our Wonder Woman episode, Superman didn't have any faults. He didn't even have kryptonite when he was first, he was just like the perfect
hero.
Yeah. And there's not really any nuance to that, but there was no intention when he was created for nuance. So I think it's hard to judge them all against each other. So, but it'll be very interesting to see what they do from now going forward. So
We could go on and on with quotes and stuff.
we could. Mary Poppins.
You've seen the movie. You've seen the movie. Or
Oh, the
you must
Pac-Man.
be so embarrassed. Do me.
do me.
Or whenever he's trying to, making all these cool things, the light balls and all this stuff. Like, you can make anything you want. And he's like, I'm going to make some weird shit. Like, I thought Ego was cast well.
Oh, he's
was
so
perfect.
good.
And his hair.
And it's interesting,
Kurt
you
Russell.
they did the thing with him, the
CGI?
motion capture on his face.
Yeah, it worked.
For the beginning, but at the same time, you have a lot of footage of Kurt Russell from when he was young. So there's a lot to draw from.
It looked real.
I know.
Like, it didn't look like what happened in Rogue One with Leia, when she looked at the camera. It looked like a young Kurt Russell. That's it. That's our miniskirt. Yeah. If you like this episode, definitely check out our Guardians of the Galaxy review that we did a couple of years ago on Volume 1. You can find that at anomalypodcast.com. Check out our Wonder Woman episode and all the other stuff. We talked about Star Trek, in this review that we did about Star Trek Beyond. We have all that at anomalypodcast.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Do that right now so that you'll always be updated as soon as we upload something to our feed. And share it with your friends, especially if you like something. Share it with your friends. And let us know if you have suggestions for another episode or if you have a comment on anything that we've said or, covered in the show, something to add, a thought that you think that we should have brought up, whatever. Be sure to send us email or voicemail or contact us through our website. Our email address is girlygeeks@gmail.com. That's girlygeeks with a Z @gmail.com. And our web address is anomalypodcast.com. That's ANOMALY podcast.com. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and we have a Facebook group. The group is our forum. The page is our fan page where we post cool memes, and we have Wonder Woman Wednesday and Firefly Friday, and that's always hard to say. Firefly.
That was your idea.
And follow us on Twitter and Pinterest. You can find all those social circles at anomalypodcast.com. We're eventually going to be reviewing Warlock Holmes.
Oh, that's
the
right.
book.
I still haven't gotten the book from you.
I know. I need to give it to you. The author will be on the show, and we're going to discuss his books with him. He's got a new one coming out. I'm looking forward to that. So I need to get you the book.
You
Definitely need to do that. And then I guess next month we will also be doing a review of Wonder Woman.
Yay!
So excited about that.
It's coming up.
It's coming
It's
up.
going to be here before we know it.
Mm-hmm. And we will catch you next time. I'm Jen.
And I'm Angela, and you've been listening to the Anomaly Podcast, where female and fandom converge.
Yay!
Yay! We did it!
We did it!
You are feeling very, very sleepy. And what you really want to do is go to anomalypodcast.com, click on donate, and help support your favorite podcast.
Gamma Quadrant Golf Clap.